Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So this video, first of all, is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to kind of explain where I've been and what all's been going on, but I hope to get back to kind of what I started before my hiatus from YouTube and do kind of a video blog style type of format, adding crafting in. And I hope to do probably once a week with my new setup and everything. So, kind of be expecting that. I'm thinking probably on Sunday mornings is when I'll do my upload. So, real quick though, at the beginning, right after this freeze frame coming up, is showing some of the gel prints that I've done over the past week that are finished. So there's this one. I think this one's pretty nice. I don't know, I like it. And that was kind of a waste paper from Distress Oxide. You can see kind of in the center left that I'd done before. This one, I think I end up printing back on that one again. This one is also done. It's on dictionary page, and it was just a really fun one. I think that was the first dictionary page one I've done. So, trying to show you some of the stuff before I get going. This tag is very nice. It's a large Ranger tag, very heavy cardstock, but you can see all those layers, and it's just so fun. So I'll go deeper into kind of my gel printing thought process and everything. But I just wanted to kind of get this up, and kind of make good on my promise of doing a video this weekend. So a little bit of short notice, but promise the next videos will be better. I'm getting an adapter so I can use my fancy microphone for the voiceovers, and so anyway, also I apologize, like halfway through the video some of the light cuts out because maybe not even halfway, but the babies had to go to sleep, and so one of them has to sleep in our den because our room is too small, and so that would have kept her up. So also stay tuned for the bonus baby footage at the very end. We got a little bit of Rat, a little bit of Mila today. I didn't show the rest of the kids, but we'll see them in the near future. So yeah, you can see this is sped up times 2, so that way it's not just real time. There's one of my kids, Autumn, she came down and I had to give her medicine before bedtime, and had to go and get some more stencils, and I had to go and get a cup of water because I was dying. So yeah. Also, full transparency, right now I'm sitting next to one of our large stockpile piles of toilet paper and paper towels, not because we're crazy COVID people that think the world's ending, but because we are a family of 8. So there's that. So I'll talk more about the COVID experience later, but man, I have not been feeling it, and that's kind of where we're getting into this conversation, and kind of where we're going with this video is just kind of an explanation. Okay, so most of you know, well, not most of you, because I've had a large increase in subscribers. Also, thank you so much, Gail, and everyone that's subscribed. I really couldn't have done that without you, and now I can't wait to do some live videos, so that will be fun. But so some of you know, if you've been following me for a while, I used to be a firefighter and an EMT. Became a 911 dispatcher about 7-8 years ago. I did that for 5.5 years. 2 years ago, December of 2019, I graduated with my bachelor's in emergency management, and I became an emergency manager. Long kind of story, long history of what that profession actually is, and if you care, then I'll mention it later, but we can talk about that later. But basically it's planning, mitigating, and responding to and recovering from disasters. So FEMA, state emergency management agencies, used to be known as civil defense for those of you that were around in the 60s. So kind of that same sort of thing with more of a focus on natural hazards and disasters. Anyway, regardless, so I thought, this place that I was working, it was a government job. Yeah, I'm gonna stay here forever, and there were some hiccups along the way, but I still just thought, like, man, I'm good. I'm stable job, fantastic. So again, that was December 2019. Well, my wife and I were at the time teaching a class of, I believe, 5th and 6th graders at our church. And unfortunately, we had a death in that class. And so that kind of shook me for a while. And that video, I think, is called I've Been Away and I'll Be Away, I think. That one kind of really just messed all of us up for many reasons. And, we still just kind of struggle with that because, a death of a child, even though it's not your own child, is never, it's never taken lightly. So there was that. Again, that was December of 2019. That was like the day before I started my new job as an emergency manager. And so, 2019, it's the very end. 2020 came around. We all know how that went. My wife and I are foster and adoptive parents, and, in March, mid-March, I believe, of 2020, we moved to where my new job was. It was originally an hour away, so I was commuting 3 hours, an hour and a half each way every day, 5 days a week for this job, which was fine. I mean, I got a lot of podcast and YouTube listening and all that done on my drives, but it wasn't really ideal. So we knew we were going to move anyway, but we found the house perfect for us. We just love the house. And so we moved here. That was a week before everything shut down. Again, I'm not going to go full into COVID because I feel like that's just been beaten to death in the crafting community, and because there was nothing else to talk about, to be honest with you. I really kick myself for not doing more videos because that was prime time to engage your audience and to grow your audience and to do things. But honestly, again, responding to disasters, this is a disaster. We had a state of emergency, stuff like that. And so I was working probably 14-hour days most days during 2020. Sometimes we were working from home. It was, but I was dealing with COVID nonstop, 24/7. Even when I was at home, we were dealing with COVID. There was a few times where I was very, very, very sick. Turns out it wasn't COVID. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't COVID. But there was a few times during 2020, 2021, and, I think maybe in January of this year that I was pretty sick, but it's never been COVID. I still haven't had it, but, so that craziness happened. And so I would, watch Gail or Marta Lepkoska from Marmy Small Art, and, really anything to kind of keep my mind off of what was going on. But in early 2021, I believe, one of my cousins got COVID, and she seemed to be doing pretty well. She was hospitalized, she was on a ventilator, she, went to a rehab hospital. She was doing well, but then things just suddenly took a turn for the worst, and she passed away. Now, that cousin, this isn't going to make any sense probably, but that was my first cousin. Um, and her daughter, her and I grew up like siblings. Um, Now, I wasn't that close to, um, you know, the one that passed away, but I was really close to her daughter, because we're closer to the same age and we just grew up like siblings. So, we went to her funeral and there was like no one wearing a mask, and this was still like when masking was everywhere. It was, I mean, just before the vaccine rollout and stuff like that. So, vaccine rolled out, whatever. In mid 2022, I believe, spring/summer 2022, we had the baby shower for the twins. And, we were all excited and everything, and obviously we're coming off of the death of that one cousin and everything, but, we just, I don't know. I mean, the world keeps turning, and so we were looking forward to the birth of my twins, Mila and Rat. And, while we were at the baby shower, my mom, one of my other cousins, who grew up like siblings with the one that passed away, this cousin's name that I'm about to talk about is Lisa. So Lisa lived just down the road from my parents, and so they were, her and her husband and son, they were always up at the house, and we would, she took me to my first professional baseball game. She was my closest family member besides my parents. And so, anything that happened, good or bad, I would call her and, tell her, and, everything. So she was, one of the ones that planned the baby shower. So during the baby shower, my mom kept talking about how, they were so tired, and how Lisa had stayed up for over 24 hours because she felt the need to get the baby blankets that was our gift completed. And we were like, well, you don't need to, or my mom told her, like, Lisa, you need to sleep, you don't need to stay up and do that, like, it'll be fine, you can give it to him later. Well, I'm sure by this point you all know where this is going. A few days after the baby shower, I believe it was, we found out that my cousin had COVID, and we were like, okay, well, she'll probably be fine, because at this point, and people had their vaccines, and I, didn't know if she did or not, but, you just don't really think about it. Well, at the same time, one of our foster kiddos who we're actually about to adopt, we are currently, as I'm filming this, about to adopt, she was in the hospital with RSV, and she had quite a bit of, medical issues and everything, and so, we were really focused on that because we had to stay in there with her in the ICU for, 24/7, and, she wouldn't sleep in the crib they had in there, so, we had to hold her, and we also had, what was it? 3 more kids, I think, to take care of, plus working, plus, whatever. Well, my cousin Lisa, again, my closest family member, would message me, and she would message me every day and ask how she was, or she would ask my mom how our kiddo was. And so, she was always like that, though, always, selfless and everything. And, one of the things we were talking about is how she was like, man, COVID is just kicking my butt. I just feel terrible. This sucks. And I was like, yeah, I bet, and then she passed away. And that was less than a week after that baby shower. And so if she would have waited to make those blankets, they likely wouldn't have been done, and we never would have gotten them. So she knew deep down, even though she didn't know she had COVID at the time, there was a nagging feeling that she needed to complete those blankets. And now those are prized possessions in our house. Again, because Lisa was my closest family member outside of my parents, and and so Jessica, who had just lost her mom, again, Jessica's the one that's been like my sibling the whole my whole life. She had lost her mom, and now she lost her closest family member as well. And so it was a really hard time, and it still is. And sometimes, like, it still doesn't feel real. I was talking to Jessica the other day, and I was like, every time when I'm down at mom and dad's, I look down the hill and at Lisa's house, and I don't know if I'm just expecting her to be walking around feeding the pigs, or come up over the hill and in her truck and wave at us on our way to work or on our way home, or stop in and want to swim with us or whatever. I don't know what I'm waiting for. I don't know what I'm looking for. And so I know this conversation isn't unique to me, because I know that we've all been through a lot since 2020, and especially now with the Russian Ukrainian thing going on, like, it's just such a strange time. And so that's one of the things that you really just kind of have to think about is, man, it's a weird time. But I mean, obviously I don't have the answers. You don't have the answers. No one does. No one on earth has the answers anyway. And so as much as we'd like to think that we do, we don't. And so that was another reason, because I just didn't want to talk about COVID, because still some raw emotion, especially the fact that she was so excited to meet my first two biological kids, and now she never gets to. So that's really unfortunate, really upsetting. So we fast forward to, I can't remember what month that was, unfortunately, but we fast forward to August, and the kiddos are born. Mila is first. She's older by 1 minute, and Rhett, who was the bigger of the two, who we were not concerned about, got a spontaneous pneumothorax, which is a collapsed lung. We didn't know what that was, or no, sorry, I've got a medical history, but we didn't know that's what it was at that point. But that's what it was. And he was in the NICU for 16 days, I believe. And it was really rough, I was taking a lot of time off work. My wife was still recovering. We still had another baby to take care of, not to mention all the kids at home. So my mother-in-law and my mom came and stayed with the other kids, because we couldn't leave the hospital. We couldn't leave the hospital with Mila, because in order to breastfeed both of them, we had to stay at the hospital, because of COVID, we couldn't leave and come back. We stayed with the Ronald McDonald House that entire time, and it was difficult. There was a time where I about passed out in a hallway in the hospital, because we were so, just so drained, and we just didn't have any sleep. So that happened. Rhett's happy, Rhett's healthy. Mila's happy, she's healthy. She's usually happy, she takes after me, and kind of is very skeptical of people, but overall they're doing really well. And so it's just crazy to me that, how much has happened since Lisa passed away, that, she'll never get to meet them, and that's really sad to me. So obviously we were pretty busy. With work, all I'm going to say is I just had to leave. I didn't feel like it was really working for me or my family anymore, and I wanted to be home with my kids. So I found a new position, still in the same city that I'm in, but I'm working with the American Red Cross now, and I feel like it'll be a lot more beneficial and a lot more fulfilling. And, I get to work from home 4 out of the 5 days of the week. So right after this little crossfade, there we go, I'm going to show you the good grief, the results of this gel print session. So again, this is just an explanation video of where I've been, and just kind of watched my gel printing process, but at some point I'll talk you through it. Sorry, I'm tired. Also, I forgot to mention I'm sitting over here by the stockpile of stuff and by our laundry at the bottom of our stairs to our basement, because this is the farthest away from the babies and they are currently sleeping. So actually everyone in the house is sleeping except for me, so I'm doing a video. But so the babies are fine. And one thing that I kind of want to leave you guys with before I do my little baby video segment here at the end is, I just want to thank you guys for the subscriber count, for the purchases of the kits, because obviously that helps us out. All the well wishes. I've read every single comment, and if I didn't reply to you, I did read it. I hearted the comment after I read it. So I want to let you know how much I appreciate that. When I was holding Rhett when we were in the NICU, I was just thinking, even though my closest family member had passed and she'd never get to meet the kids, and we're going through this crazy season of, illness and everything, when we were sitting there, in his hospital room, a lot of times it would just be me and him, or his mom and him, and the other one would try to get some sleep, or the other one would be taking care of the baby, or during the day we were both there, But I remember sitting there, and in our church, I play on the worship team now, but in our church, we started singing this song, and it became so true. It's called Goodness of God, and some of the words are, all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. And so, first of all, with every breath that I am able, man, that was a heart tugger. Still is, because of Rhett's collapsed lung. Something as simple as breathing becomes so very important. And even though my cousin passed, and she never got to meet Rhett or Mila, God's still so good. And I think that's something that we don't see enough, is when you're going through heartache and just the bad stuff, right, that it's harder to see his goodness. And so I want to kind of starting this new chapter with my new job and the twins and our, complete, at least as of right now, family. Life, the next chapter without my cousin. Stuff like that. The upgrades in my craft room. All that stuff, making videos again and everything. I wanted to make this video to really kind of inspire, explain, and welcome you to our life. This is Rat Boy. Ready. Ready. Trying to grab the phone. Rat Boy. And this is Mila, girl. She's 1 minute earlier. 1 minute older, not earlier. 1 minute older than her brother. Can you say hi? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, dribbles. Shucks. It's okay. That outfit needed to go anyway. And she's got some lipstick smudge for Mommy's post-church kisses this morning. Mila. She's reaching for my phone cord that's right there. So yeah, Mila and Rat are our two twinsies. And you guys will see the rest of the family in more upcoming videos. I just had some extra time right now. Hey, we don't chew on cords. We can't chew on cords. I got a perfectly good baba for you right here. Yeah, but we don't chew on cords. We had some time because Mom took the rest of the kiddos to Autumn's basketball practice. So we were enjoying a nice, after church nap. And Mom took everyone else. So, what do you think, Mila? Huh? Oh my goodness.